Hello and welcome to the Mindset Alchemy podcast, as you heard in the intro. Today, I am very blessed to have a fellow South African, Tim Wagner, who is joining me to discuss how he became a professional pointer. Tim, welcome to the Mindset Alchemy podcast.
Wonderful, Janine. Thanks so much for the invitation. It's a privilege and a pleasure to be here with you.
Oh, likewise. Tim and I had a wonderful chat before this, and there's so many interesting things about his life that I'm sure he's going to share with us. Tim, I believe you began in the hospitality industry, or did you do something before that?
Out of school, you always have this challenge about what you're actually going to do. And I had one of those careers guidance counselors. I don't know if you had one of them.
Oh, yes. It was an interesting perspective.
And exactly. How can one person in a few small questions direct a young chap in their future career path? But that's exactly what happened. I was told either go into broadcasting or hospitality. And I figured I like to travel, so why not? So I ended up by spending 27 years in that industry, did very well, and climbed the corporate ladder, doing the traditional thing, which we're all taught to do well, study. So I went and studied, and I got the job, and I worked hard for the promotions and made the money, got married, had the children, got the house, got the debt, got the car. And I did that for 27 years. So
the 40 by 40 cycle, yes.
Exactly, yeah. Doesn't necessarily mean it was the right path, but it was a path.
Now, that is a very interesting perspective. Could you expand on that, please? It may not necessarily be the best path or the right path. Could you share a bit about that?
Yeah, well, that's a big part of the conversation, isn't it? That we follow a route that society tells us what we should be doing, whether it's your parents, your sibling, the government, the media, school, teachers, whoever it is. And you think, okay, so that's the way I must act, and off you go down that route. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's your path, it's a path. So now looking back, I realized that was a very good path. It was okay. I learned a lot, I did a lot, I achieved a lot, I traveled a lot. Mm-hmm. However, the last maybe 5 or possibly even 10 years of my career, I wasn't excited. I wasn't passionate. Because I started to ask questions about, well, maybe this isn't actually my true path, my true nature, my inbuilt person of who I actually am. But I had no idea who I was, because I'd never been allowed to live this person. Fit in that box, right? That criteria of this is what you do. And it was in 2008 that I first started to realize there was way more to life. And that was when I got introduced to network marketing, which led me to personal development. That was passion. That was the key. That skills development, learning, realizing there was so more outside of this world in hospitality. I only knew it. I knew it very well. I was extremely good at it. I had my own businesses, as well as working for other people, which I spend most of my time for. But realizing that, hang on a second, there's a bigger world out there. That education, that self-education portion captivated me. And that was then in 2008, the real transition and the change in my direction. Although I carried on in hospitality until 2018. It took me 10 years of that personal development and that coaching and teaching a lot of people and mentoring in my own networks and my own sphere before I actually had then the confidence, as well as the financial backing through my own part-time businesses, to say, that's it. Time to live my life by my rules, the way that I would like to live.
So would you say that network marketing was the catalyst that brought you towards your mindset being alchemized into where you had a deeper feeling you could go?
Without question, it was. For the good things and the bad things. I still do network marketing now. However, I do it to get access to meeting great like-minded people who are looking for something else, where I can coach and guide and mentor and teach and point, professional pointer, people in a new direction to find purpose and meaning in life. So that's where it's led me to. So network marketing was the medium that got me into personal development and growth, and realizing that my core strength and ability and passion and energy and excitement, enthusiasm comes from sharing my story, sharing the lessons, disseminating and breaking down what people can quite naturally make complicated.
Yeah.
This whole personal development thing, there's so much, Janine. Where do you start? There's books and podcasts and seminars and online things, and you've got all the amazing names in the world. They just give so much information. But how do you actually begin? So I like to disseminate this down into some simple processes and steps, and realize that people seem to be quite receptive to my stories and to my teachings. And that's what I'm now focusing primarily on, is this. So yeah, that network marketing. Also, when you look at it, isn't it an ideal environment where there's a product, a business model, mentors, people, coaches who have achieved. And so you've got this made in a box opportunity. But here was the question I had. How come only 1% of people truly achieve sustainable long-term growth and changes in their life? Why only 1%? That was a question I had for many years.
And
what I uncovered through my own journey was I was the 1%. I didn't have a problem. I was always energized, teaching, mentoring, coaching. I was always going. I was always after that next. Doesn't matter what the hurdle, the roadblock, the obstacle, the issue, everything was thrown at me. Didn't matter. I carried on anyway because I had a dream.
yes.
I knew my why. I knew why. Or I thought I knew why. And
I like that. You thought you knew why. Expand on that a bit.
I thought I knew my why. When I became known within my networks as the why guy. I was teaching on why. I was on stage sharing with why. I'd sit with people and say, but why do you want this? Yes, we need money. Yes, I understand that, but why do you need the money? No, we've got to pay the debt. Yes, but why do you want to pay the debt? So I became known as the why guy, chatting about these things. So I thought I actually knew my reason and my purpose, and it was helping other people. Great. That's a great reason why. And it was a driving factor of mine for many, many years. What the puzzle was, how come 99% of people, when hit with a roadblock, an obstacle, go back to default status? They fall back into the pattern that they're actually trying to break out of. They go back to the job because it's secure. I think the last 3-4 years has shown that that's a fallacy. It's fake.
Yes.
Right? Complete. But people fall back into that. And how many people now, even after having gone through a huge amount of personal trauma, pain, financial pain, loss pain in the last 3 or 4 years, have now fallen back into this false security of, sure, I've got a job. Okay, let me just look after this. Because they hit a roadblock in wanting to live the life that they want, and they went back to default. And here's what I discovered. And it's happened after I was going through a lot of courses of my own. I took on a personal coach, and I attended a lot of workshops. Some were paid, some were free. There's a lot of free material out there if you know where to look for it. And however, cutting a check for speed is most definitely a key aspect. I've learned that. Find the value.
Yes.
And I went through an amazing program by Dr. John DeMartini. Where you've probably heard of him, but if the listeners haven't, that's somebody worth.
Oh, yes. I loved his work. I love his work. I'm currently actually working through one of his books as well. I love reading his stuff. Yes, so it's interesting. So what came forward for you?
After I did one of his workshops about 1.5 years ago, to discover your value, your inbuilt values and your inbuilt purpose. Again, not what society told us who you are, but who you actually are by nature inside. Right? Once you discover this, and when I realized, I had my own personal realization, those epiphany moments, like, this is it. It felt like there was a piece of the puzzle for the first time, which slotted in. And it was the understanding that if you have a strong why, your reason, but it's not aligned to who you are,
Yep.
you'll go back into your default status of what society's told you to do. As soon as you know who you are as a person, that's your purpose in life, that's your value principles in life, and you combine that with your reason why, you become absolutely unstoppable.
Love it. And that's what personal leadership is. Self-leadership is understanding your why. Personal leadership is bringing it into alignment with who you are, those core values, and the essence of who you are. Now, that leads me to the next question. So often we think we know who we are, and yet we are unavailable to who we really are. What has your experience been with this?
Sure, quite an interesting transition. When I worked through the workshops and I had a coach who I could share and speak with to verbalize it is such an important aspect. It's great, pen and paper, critical, can't see my pen, essential. But then to verbalize and speak through it, that's when you start to really move from the conscious brain to the subconscious brain, and you start to own it. Huge difference. That what's called the monkey mind, that conscious brain, the one that tells you all the answers, that gives you that says, this is the answer, that's the answer. To break down from that, you can do it through meditation, sure, most definitely. I meditate, I have done for many, many years. But verbalizing it and chatting with a coach on it, somebody who's been that path before, a mentor of yours. So we always need mentors in life. Really helps move it moves you into a different feeling and a different understanding.
Yeah.
But Janine, here's what I discovered. I actually knew my path. Let me rephrase that. I was on my path. I was in the correct journey. I just didn't know it.
So you basically were following your whisper.
I like that. I was following my whisper. And when it moved from being more than a whisper, it was a self-actualization and a realization, oh my life, I am actually on my right path. Now I know. Because knowing is the most important aspect of it. It's more than a realization or an understanding. To truly know, that's the moment I became, this is what I'm meant to be doing. Now I can focus and I don't have to jump from this and that and find the next shiny object and look for this next opportunity or do that or do this or jump there and listen to that. Now I know. So everything that I'm now bringing to my world and my life, if it's aligned to my purpose, to this cause, to this calling, to this knowing, I adopt it and I do it and off I go. If I look at it and I go, is it aligned? And the answer is no. Then I can, with ease and joy, say to somebody, no. Not only that I don't feel bad, but that they actually appreciate the fact and respect the fact that I'm not going to lead them down the path and procrastinate or hesitate, because I say, no, I know where I'm going.
I find that also conserves our energy, because we're saying yes to what we're in alignment with rather than carrying the weight of what we're out of alignment with. Again, coming back to your being a pointer, pointing people towards their core value, and myself helping them understand that when they lead themselves in the direction they're meant to go, it makes such a difference. What has your experience been within leadership?
Leadership has been a natural thing of mine, although I didn't know it right when I first started working. It's been a very natural process and progress right back in hospitality, whether it was just when I was a supervisor in a restaurant and I was a lightie. I mean, when I was 21, I was the youngest ever restaurant manager for the Hilton Hotel Group in the UK.
Oh, congratulations.
It nearly put me in hospital, I might say, because I didn't know how to handle the stress. But yes. I was given this leadership opportunity to then go and lead people. I personally never liked the management thing. Yes. Do that. I did it for many years. And I did it very aggressively. I could tell some stories, which right now maybe I won't go down the path of what I used to be like.
Yes.
My wife likes to relate sometimes onto those stories, and I go, no, that wasn't me. She said, oh, yes, it was. But it was that process to change from being a manager, which was more of a dictator.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest, business is dictatorship. As an employee, you would do what you're told and off you go. And if you don't, you get into trouble. Right. Broaching and moving out of that, still working in the corporate world, was a mindset shift of mine where for probably the last 5 to 7 years when I was working in a business, and people would say, well, Tim, what do you do? I would say, I provide an environment for people to be the best versions of themselves.
Beautiful.
I just happen to use hospitality to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That was when it became leadership and not management.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That points to me, talking about the pointer, when you were in management, you were out of alignment with your core values. Whereas when you were able to step into leadership, you stepped into what is aligned with yourself, and that is what shifted your energy. Now, that was quite a large step from there into coaching. Well, not really. You were practicing in the one part, and now you are actively applying it. What was the shift for you?
It was it's a transition, although there's quite a clear defined decision point. The transition was continuing to do things which weren't serving me well. So for the last 6 years, I've been working in online businesses. So I fired in 2018. In fact, in next week, it'll be 5 years since I fired my last boss. I was working for a narcissist. I said, that's it. A few choice words, which I won't put on your podcast. You can fill in the gap.
I appreciate it.
We'll keep it clean.
We'll keep it clean.
And I said, that's it. Time to live my own life, as I've already shared with you. However, I didn't know at that point where I was really going to go. So I was doing a lot of online businesses, a lot of trading cryptocurrencies. I was learning a lot about it, teaching trading in cryptocurrencies, doing investments. And I made a lot of money 4 times. And I don't call it lost a lot of money. I had very expensive university fees 4 times. Yeah. As quickly as the money came in, it left just as quick. And sometimes more left than actually came in. It was then a process of me saying, but hang on a second. Tim, there's a message in this. And the message is, I'm an expert at losing money.
What a painful message.
Perhaps that's not my path.
Yes. Yeah.
So a huge change in mindset, and you've perhaps heard this before, and I'm sure listeners have as well. Don't chase the money. You're not doing it to chase the money. When I was working in my last business that I was running for 7 years, I was chasing the money. I sold my soul to the devil. I absolutely did. There could be Hollywood movies written about what I did in the last 7 years in my corporate world. And I left there still chasing the money because of this promise in this world of online businesses that you can just get rich quick stuff and all these things and you can make all this money. Oh, I did very well. But as I've already said, it came in and left. So that was a transitional stage of mine to then say, but hang on a second, where am I actually going with my life? And it was then at the age of 49 that key realization said, this is where you must go. And then last year, turning it into a business where I said, right, now I'm going to start to take myself seriously and monetize my knowledge so that other people see value and I see value in myself.
Yes. It's also about an energetic exchange. People very seldom value what they get for free. I've experienced that in my business, whereas even if it's a nominal charge, and that's something I also learned, you can only give people to the capacity they're prepared to pay for. So it comes down to capacity. And when you were talking about the money, I've seen that over and over again. People can only retain money that they have the capacity to hold. And very often, because people want to do what society calls quantum leaps, they go backwards. And that's why more leaves than comes in. And it happens with us energetically. We go back to habits that no longer serve us. Now, Tim, you got into coaching. You're also doing breath work, which I am absolutely passionate about because of the difference it makes in life. What made you look at not that it made you, what attracted you? What was the whisper that took you towards NLP? Neuro-linguistic programming, for those new to the phrase.
So the NLP came about when last year I was having a look at who I want to become. So instead of having just a goal to say I want to be an effective, well-known, acclaimed, recognized coach, that's not solid enough. That doesn't give you solid enough grounding to then take you from where you are to being this coach. There's a whole journey. There's that path, sort of like the GPS, if you want. GPS says, where are you? So GPS says, okay, you are here. I want to now drive to Johannesburg. Okay, so GPS says, now you've got the journey, the route to get you there. Okay, that's great. But if you just have a goal without knowing who, so when I then said, okay, if that is who I want to be, who can I mirror myself with? And one of the key people is Tony Robbins.
Okay.
So then I say, right, what skills does Tony Robbins have that I need so that I can then aim to being that who? And one of the things is he knows NLP. He's an NLP practitioner from decades ago. Great. What do? If I want to be that, I need to become an NLP practitioner. Okay. What else does Tony Robbins know? He uses breath work. So at the same time as I'm discovering this, I came across the Breath Masters Academy. And I went on one of their workshops. The first one I did in August of last year, I think it was absolutely profound about how important breath is. That we do from unblocking all that stress and the strain to just getting focused or being energized. Breath is the most important aspect of our lives, yet we understate it. And I thought, wow, I'm hooked. So I got hold of the breathwork guys, and it's quite profound how the journey then happened. So when I had a long discussion with them, I said, I need to learn more. I want to learn more. They said, great, we've got a 10-week program where you can get certified to being a breathwork practitioner. I said, I'm there. What do I need to do? Great, Tim, you must put $5,000 down. Wow. Okay. All right. $5,000. I'm going to bring that into my life. I'm going to create this. I'm doing this. Don't know how. That is immaterial. I'm going to do it. And so I put it out there. I shared it and I said, I will do breath work to become a practitioner. So in February, where are we now? End of March, end of February, I get an email from them saying, Tim, we're launching a, what's the word I'm looking for? A program, a scholarship. We're launching a scholarship to be able to attend the Breath Masters Academy. Would you like to apply? Don't ask me twice. Email, a week later, I had the interview, accepted, started the course last week, Monday. Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it, Tim. So now I'm starting this journey as a wonderful add-in to my coaching. It's Janine, you're very receptive on these things. I'm learning a lot about laws of attraction and about energy. It's a completely new sphere of mine. But to sit with somebody to try and help them progress in the next stage when they are breathing from here because it's stress.
Yes. And habit.
Forgetting how to breathe, forgotten how to breathe, haven't learned. Breathing should be taught in school. Really, it should be. To add this in as a new modality to help people achieve more and receive more and understand more and break down some blocks in order to be able to then move forward in life is a wonderful addition. And I'm so enjoying this new journey of adding in this new who I want to become this year.
Love it.
Now,
If I may recap, you saw somebody that's successful and you went and explored what it was that they had that you could add to your life with. That understanding who we would like to become is really, really such, again, an important part of personal leadership, because we can change who we are. We can grow into who we can be. And that is such an important aspect of life, and coming back into alignment with ourselves and with our passion and with our purpose. I would just like to add at this point, people, those of you who know me know I have a challenge with the word why. And did you notice Tim used it in an expansive way? He didn't use it in a way that asked what he couldn't do, because remember, the word why keeps you looping. So you'd like to be aware of what you're looping. And Tim was very careful to loop what he desired to have in his life, desired where he would like to go to. And Tim, am I correct in saying this is what helped you move towards the choosing of whom you would like to become?
Yeah, without question. To understand how to ask the right question is key to unlocking the path, which is there all along, but you just never knew it was. And often having somebody who understands a little bit about NLP, back to the neuro-linguistic programming, and how to ask the right question to get the subconscious brain thinking, where the conscious mind says, I don't know the answer, I'm going to give up with this one and hand it over to you. That's when you can start really getting to break down those answers. But yes, I've just used a word that I would like not to use anymore, and I'll move from that. So the process of practicing this is to have somebody who can ask you the right question, not to lead you, but to open you. Is a very key one. In sales, I've been in sales for all my life, for years in sales. And in sales, you ask questions to lead the person that you want to buy down a certain route. And that's a different style of questioning to what we're asking. Very, very different approach. So having somebody who can ask those questions, which are the open-ended, the ones which are going to give the thought to the moving forward in the direction that feels right and feels good for you. It's also a skill, and I'm a student of that. I'm not there yet. I'm on my way. It's something which I personally believe is a constant journey of learning. It never stops.
Where would you like your journey to take you in the next few years? On that point, please, could you share about your wonderful workshops?
Oh yes, I love doing these things. Every time to share and teach and just to share. I think that's such a big part of it. The last Thursday of every month, I collaborate with 3 other coaches from around the world that I've met. So we try and really have a group of international speakers who are experts in their own niche field. And tonight I'm actually running the 3rd one, where it's all about helping everybody maintain focus on their dreams and goals for 2023. And you start out in January every year with that fated New Year's resolution, right? Yeah. Now, you and I we're a little bit more understanding of how it works. So those New Year's resolutions, we understand why they don't. Let's just call it a dream and a goal. Every year we start and we say, this is what I'd really like to achieve, who I'd like to become, what I want to do, where I want to go in 2023. But by the 3rd week in January, what's happened to that?
Most people have disappeared. They don't even remember the goal they set.
100%. So the idea of this workshop is the last Thursday of every month to bring ourselves back into alignment and focus. And also not only the physical thing of what we're doing, but also energetically and emotionally saying, as a reminder, this is where I'm going. But then it's a workshop to give physical tools and things for people to do, to take away. So it's a free workshop. This we absolutely do. This is our service for free. and where you can connect. So we've got some amazing guys this evening. There's 2 Canadian speakers and one gent from the US. Sometimes they're from Europe, sometimes South Africa. It depends who's coming on board. And I'd love for people to just jump on and join these. I love doing them. It really takes me back as a reminder for why I'm doing what I'm doing. So the saying is, if you want to learn something, you teach it, right?
Yes, definitely.
And I learn every single time from putting these together. Yeah, so that's what we're doing this evening.
Well, by the time this particular episode launches, you'll be able to join the April one. So put it in your diary, the last Thursday of the month. I'm not sure what the date is, and I expect to see at least some of you there. Tim, it's been such a gift having you. If you could offer one thing to our audience, what would that be?
Last year, when I was starting my new journey, my motto was, do it anyway.
Love it.
I'm not ready. Do it anyway. There's no one joining my course. Do it anyway. I don't have enough material. Do it anyway. I feel nervous. Do it anyway. And just doing it anyway, I learned so much. So I would say, just do it anyway. Whether you take that from Nike, just do it or not, just do it anyway.
As you say, that's so powerful. Thank you very much. And I have no desire. And I just remembered the video where there was a coach saying, and do it, and do it, and do it. I can't remember who it was, Art Linkletter, or no, it wasn't Art Linkletter, but you really reminded me of that. Oh, thank you so much, Tim, for joining us. And people, I will put Tim's details in the show notes. Come and join us on the last Thursday of the month, because there is so much value learning how to ask the better question, understand who you are and who you're choosing to be. Tim, again, thank you. I so appreciate your time and your effort. And thank you.
Thank you very much for allowing me and for inviting me and having me here, letting me share and just talk. I can talk forever. You've kept it focused. I think we've shared a lot, and I love doing this. Thanks a lot, Janine. And please keep going on where you're going. This is invaluable material to put out.
Thank you. People, bye-bye.